Oh, you want me to start?
Or you want me to start like that? I'll start like that and then you can...
But you started the last video, so I should start this video.
Okay.
Is it recording? Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. We've had another question from a viewer and a video request. Maybe you should do one about your travels. I'd love to hear more about where you've been and what are your experiences traveling vegan. Something that we're very passionate about, isn't it?
Yes.
So much so that we were just saying before we got married over 10 and a half years ago, we
used to fantasize about traveling.
Yeah, because we weren't, until we were married, because of our, strict European cultural backgrounds, we weren't really allowed to, we're certainly allowed to go overseas together, weren't we?
No, we weren't allowed to travel together.
And that's what we wanted to do.
Yes, until we were legally bound.
Yeah. And now we don't even own wedding rings. Anyway, that's another story, isn't it?
Yes.
So we used to go to the airport.
We used to go to the airport and pretend that we were travelling. On like a Saturday night, we would go and park at the airport and just pretend we were walking through.
Be in the departure lounge and, grab a coffee, when we used to drink coffee back then.
And one time, did we actually bring empty suitcases or a backpack?
It's possible.
I feel like we did. What we were, talking about was, can we get someone to take a photo of us? Like, we're going on a holiday.
Gee, that's how desperate
we were. Really desperate for adventure. Yeah. So life was pretty boring back then.
Our first travelling experience was almost 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's when we took a year sabbatical and we went to Europe, North America and India.
That 12 months was the breaking loose, cutting the chains.
Breaking out of the mould.
Exactly. Yeah. And we started that year with a bungee jump in France.
Which we organised from back here in Australia.
Yeah. We just wanted to do something out of our comfort zone and scream and feel terrified and excited. And we wanted to feel something. We wanted to be moved. Yeah. So that's...
Life begins on the edge of our comfort zone.
Exactly. And interestingly, all these years later, we have this business and YouTube channel, Move Me. And that's what we wanted. We wanted to be moved. We wanted to feel something. So travel does that. It pushes you to move, to connect, to experience. And that's just all we wanted at that point. Yeah. So,
and I think in terms of the diet, so we that first year away, for the first 9 months, we were eating meat, dairy and eggs, standard Western diet. And then the last 3 months in the ashram, because it was vegetarian, we ate a vegetarian diet.
Yeah.
And then we returned back to Australia as vegetarians.
Yeah.
And we were here for about 4.5 months. And then we said, no, we need to go on some more adventures. So we left for another 4 years. And during that time, we spent time in Southeast Asia. We visited Europe again. We went to South Africa. We went to Ecuador and Peru. And Bali and some,
and the main places we've lived were Thailand. We lived there for 2.5 years. We lived in Ecuador for 15 months. We actually had residency in Ecuador.
Yeah.
Amazing. We went through that whole process and then we got the residency and went, no, it's not going to work. So that was quite, Anyway, and what we do is we work in exchange for food and accommodation. That's usually the go.
We've done that as volunteers and also in our professions as yoga teachers and Reiki practitioners.
Yeah, so that's been great. And in terms of the food, so as Lucas said, the first year was predominantly omnivores. Traveling vegetarian is so easy. When you first become vegetarian, you're like, oh, this is so hard. It's so much easier just to eat meat. And then you become vegan and you're like, oh my God, vegetarian is so easy.
And it's not that it's difficult to eat vegan. It's just more challenging and you need to plan ahead, isn't it?
Plan ahead. So happycow.net is your lifesaver.
Thank you, happycow.net.
It's awesome.
And what we do, we take a lot of enjoyment and excitement. If we know we're going to a different country, we'll get on Happy Cow and we'll look at all the vegan restaurants or vegan-friendly places, and we'll note them down, and we'll print off maps, won't we?
We actually plan our sightseeing around the restaurants, and this is really important. We were foodies as omnivores. We loved food back then, and we still love food now. That hasn't changed. It's just the type of food has changed. So food's always been very central to our idea of travel.
we've found vegan places in every corner of the globe.
Everywhere.
One interesting example, I remember we were in India, in Goa, and we were teaching with this other Italian yoga teacher, and he was saying, yeah, guys, I'd like to be vegan maybe, but
That's how he said it too.
it's pretty difficult when you travel, and what if you're, for example, in the Apulhara region in Spain, for example, where are you going to find vegan food then? And we said, well, funny you should say that, because when we finished here in Goa, we are actually going to the Apulhara region of Spain, and we've already booked in a couple of nights at a vegan bed and breakfast for Natasha's birthday. So
he was like, what the, really?
Yeah.
So there's somewhere everywhere,
in every
and the
corner
more
of the globe.
experience you have, you can just, bam, stump people. I've been there, I've done that. I was vegan there, I was vegan there. Easy. There's something everywhere. Another great tip is to always look up a few words in whatever language, depending on whatever country you're traveling to, and just have the bare basics. Learn how to say, or just have it written down, vegan, no meat, no dairy, no eggs. We also used...
in Spain, we didn't trust them, actually.
Yeah.
No, not in Spain.
No,
Sorry,
Thailand.
We're getting confused here.
Anyway.
I'm thinking of Ecuador, when we would travel with this little printout where it said, instead of, I am vegan and I do not eat blah, 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 it said, I am allergic to, or we are allergic to, and then all of the animal products. So then, restaurants don't want to muck around with food allergies.
And I remember the waiter said, both of you? And we're like,
And then what happens is, if they get the order right, we'll then say to them, we're not really allergic, we're actually vegan, but we wanted to make sure you got it right. And,
let's have a bit of fun with them. They'll never forget you. They'll remember the word vegan.
And then when there was enough language, depending on where we were, it was an opportunity to educate as well, wasn't it?
Yes, definitely. You did that a lot in Ecuador. Lucas' Spanish was pretty good by the end, and you were able to have conversations. And remember, the taxi driver would ask you, why don't you eat that chicken that's crossing the road? And your response would be?
Or I would say, the English equivalent was, well, the chicken is my friend and I don't eat my friends.
But you got to say it in Spanish.
But
come on.
I don't know, something like los animales son mi amigos and non como mi amigos, or something like that.
It's so cute. You're like, all right, the gringo's a bit loco, but
but they got it at the same time.
They did.
We travelled for those 4 years with some plastic containers, and we would take them with us to the vegan establishments that we would find. We'd eat there, and then we'd say, and can you fill these up for takeaway? And then we would take these and eat them in the airport or eat them on the flight.
That's it.
I remember, many times we'd get them out on the plane as people's, meat dishes are coming around and stinking out the cabin, and we'd pop the lid on some quinoa and vegetables or something like that, and this beautiful aroma would flood the cabin. And I remember the flight attendants on many occasions would say, "Ooh, what have you got there? That looks fantastic." They would be salivating and ogling at our food.
And another opportunity for a conversation. All this talk about food made us hungry. So even though it's incredibly easy to travel vegan, you should always be prepared, because you just never know. You don't want to go without, you don't want to miss out, you don't want to get undercarved and all cranky. So it's always really good to travel with some things with you that you can snack on, some dried fruits, maybe some nuts.
Even fresh fruit.
Rice crackers are fantastic.
Or rice cakes.
Be organised and have food with you, so you never get hungry or go without, or think, oh my God, I'm going to starve, I'm going to have the chicken sandwich. No, that's not an option.
Ooh, date and coconut rolls.
Yes. Good idea. Yeah, dates.
And I was thinking maybe like, energy bars, vegan energy bars.
Whatever.
Fruit bars.
Yeah.
Dehydrated fruit straps.
Exactly. If it's a long flight.
Fruit.
Another thing is, most airplanes these days will offer a vegan option if you pre-book your meals. So that's fantastic. But we don't rely on that, because basically we don't trust anyone. They can really stuff that up. So we sometimes will order the vegan meal on the airline, but we always bring our own food just in case.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in traveling with us, we're going to
Raw Till 4 Thai Fruit Festival in Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Yay! In June.
It's going to be peak mango season, and if you've never tried a Thai mango, you've never had a mango.
Come along.
Definitely.
Come and travel with us.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Hope that's answered your question. Thank you so much. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and share your travel experiences down below. How have you travelled as a vegan? What are your travel tips? Any stories you want to share? We want to hear from you. Thank you so much as always.
Be vegan. It's wonderful. It's finished.
Okay.